Making sure I am muted.
She, which is one of the main schools.
Right.
And the quarterback is there. It's like. It's 6 o'clock on. We're all here, and Lisa Rogers is not available, so she hopes to come on Skype, but we're not sure if she will or not, so we'll see. I mean, everyone's here except for her, so is there kind of a motion for approval or additions to the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, public participation?
Spectator only.
Okay.
If you get a cookie, you have to say something.
I just did, Don. I said I'm a spectator.
With that said, we will move on. Thank you for coming, though. Appreciate it. We have some action items and committee reports. Discussion and/or approval of the intergovernmental agreement with the Yamhill County.
Casey?
This was brought about by some changes that we saw happening during the last couple of years, and watching our costs increase so much that it became apparent that it wasn't going to be cost effective anymore. So we were talking with, they've gone through 3 park supervisors at the county since Jim left. They just hired a new one on May 8th, I think he came on board. And I've been talking with Jessica Beach, who is the Homestead Criminal Justice Department. She has been in charge of the program, corrections program, and Mr. Phil Rago, who is the public works superintendent for the county. So we came up with a new agreement, which takes us from 6 days to 4. But I think going forward that they're going to have more availability of corrections crew. They're also using people that are doing community service as well, and they've guaranteed 3 to 4 people on the crew at a time. Lately it's been just some of the supervisors. So we're hoping to gain a lot more, maybe not utility, but capability with the crews, and for $60,000 this year.
So I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
So in 2015, we were paying 90,000 out for that, according to the old contract. And now we're going to be paying 110, 103 plus another 10,000 plus for their gas and equipment and so on. So $120,000.
125, I think.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and it was happening when I was here too, that we were losing more and more inmates due to reasons beyond their control.
Yeah.
So my concern is that we're going to be spending $120,000 on these folks, and we're not even assured any inmates at times.
We get 4 10-hour days, which equates to about 4 7-hour days.
But that could be 4 10-hour days of just a supervisor.
That's what it has been.
But that's not what we agreed upon. That's not why we entered into this.
No.
And I apologize, because I know when Don was here the whole time I was here, we used to get a lot of folks. We'd have up to 12 sometimes in work parties working.
And I believe that Jim,
will come back.
we will again. Due to COVID, the downturn in the prisons and those type things, as you know, we were the only one and the first to jump on this
No, I know.
many years ago. Matter of fact, the county, we appreciated what they did, and we reciprocated by agreeing to enter into an agreement. I think that it still benefits this agency to do it. I think it helps the county, and most of all, I think it helps the community. So I think it's a win-win.
Will those 4 days be during the week, or will they be during the weekend?
We haven't discussed that. We're assuming that at least one of those days would be on the weekend.
Okay, and I know that Tim is leaving, is that correct?
No.
He's leaving our health. He's leaving being
No,
in charge of our
they
area.
haven't determined that yet. They're
Oh.
leaving that up to the new park supervisor. They're working out of the public works facility, and they have been, but they've had no direction other than Brian and myself.
So you still feel it's viable not to look inward and say, hey, for this amount of money, we can get another
You
full-time employee?
can't do that. I mean, just to go and buy the equipment's about $150,000.
And my last question is which parks are they still dedicated to?
We are going to keep them dedicated to the Dundee area and the smaller parks, and parks that we can mow with the bigger mowers, then they're. So as little travel time as necessary for them to do their job. And, you know, Crabtree's a big one. That's a long way for us.
No, I understand. That's why I had him there when I left. I had him on that side of the county because just getting, back before the bypass was built,
Yeah.
just getting our guys to that side of Dundee was difficult. So I get it. I just see the price going up and now we're gonna use the CPI for them too.
Yeah, and that's fair. I looked at all the pricing. They showed me the budget, the line items, cost per employee, cost of their equipment, their depreciation, all that stuff. So we came to that agreement.
But we have an opt-out too, which is good, so.
Yep.
Okay, that was my questions. I didn't mean to belabor that.
No, it's,
I think it was good for
appreciate
people
your
to hear.
insight.
Okay, then I need a motion.
I move that we approve the intergovernmental agreement with the Anson County.
All those in favor? Or second, I'm sorry.
Come on, get on the steps.
Second.
There you go.
All right.
And now I can see all those in favor.
All right.
Aye.
Okay, next, we're gonna get a presentation. I see we've got some pictures on the AKS and Rennie Field Development.
Yes. Those came in either yesterday or this morning, I can't remember. I just got back to work yesterday. They were, as we discussed during a meeting that we held with Ruth, Bernhardt, and Burfield, and AKS, and through the cooperative, and a site visit that everyone kind of did their own thing, but that's what we asked them to do, was to put together some different proposals for development of the Lenny Field. There's 3 options there. One of them doesn't expand the track. One of them is 8 lanes.
Oh, nice.
I believe the third one,
I wrote mine.
second and third move the baseball fields.
You notice there's no, we talked about restrooms in this. I don't notice there's no restrooms.
Well, Dawn and I went down there and determined that, you know, there used to be a facility down there
Right.
on Blaine Street, and all the infrastructure is there, that would be the place to put restrooms and concessions or whatever building we decide to do. We just need to make sure that there is room enough to do that.
So that wasn't part of their contract to take a look at that and make sure that.
No, we didn't ask them to design, we just asked them to make sure that there was room to do that.
So there is room there,
Yeah.
I think.
Jim, probably what we'll do, and you're familiar with them, we'll put one of those that you just plop down. We'll build a,
Yeah, CRX,
right,
ROM tech.
yeah.
right. It's the best way to go. It works and they're as good as anything
Yeah, I
else.
don't disagree with that.
Unless we get a couple of block layering.
Unless we did it like we did at Crater, where we got it pretty
Right.
much for free. and
Crater.
everything like that.
Also, Jaquith, we built that internally, but we got donations and we may try with this, but worst come to worst, we'll do that.
Yeah, the CRX and the RomTech restrooms are really nice.
Yeah.
And they're really easy to keep up, so,
That's important.
yeah, they're pretty bulletproof. Do you folks really haven't had time to review these at all?
Yeah. So you have them in your hands, you
Thanks.
got a month. You know, this process isn't going to start this year, but these are kind of things that we should look at. And if you guys have any comments and things, just point in my direction, and I'll make sure Dawn and whoever is updated on all that.
So they're thinking about turning the 2 ball fields there.
Well, yeah, and I had another suggestion, but they didn't do what I asked either, so. But I understand foul balls. I'm not a baseball player, so maybe their option is best.
Yeah, because there's quite a bit of infrastructure on that one field,
Yeah.
with bathrooms there too.
Well, I haven't seen it, and I'll look at it.
Yeah.
I don't like either one. I like it better when they're back to back. As you well know, Jim, they're the best way to go. It's easier. They do have the buildings down there. So I'll get with them, work with them. AKS for the board, even though I put in to approve the contract, I basically gave them the go ahead to go because it was under 5,000, but it wouldn't, for the minutes, it wouldn't be bad for you guys to go ahead and approve that contract.
I have a question on these. So as we're looking at the different options, at what point are we choosing an option?
Well,
This is just,
right, before they start construction.
it looks like options 1 through options 3 are kind of varying degrees of niceness. Does this have to be decided all up front, or can it be incremental?
Well, no, it can be incremental.
Yeah, it will be incremental.
Yeah. The main goal is to get the field in. And if we have to wait to do some of the track or some of the other facilities, and I'm sure we will, it'll be in phases.
I gave you copies of the meeting minutes that we had with the school board members, as well as the meeting notes from that we met with AKS and all the players. I gave you those notes as well. So we'll keep you informed as we go. Anytime we meet with them, we'll take those kind of notes and put it in a folder and give it to you guys. So you'll be up. I think this will meet one of our goals that we've had for quite some time.
Well, it won't like meet it, but it will help get us closer.
Oh, yeah. I believe based on what we have in the community, it'll meet.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain it will. Because the reason I say that is some of these other fields have times available as well. And when we go here, it'll make other times available. Right now, the high school is actually being used by people outside the district and area. Sherwood, Tigard, those areas are using quite a few. And so we have the capacity.
So where would you plan to put the bathrooms? I didn't understand that.
That'll go on Blaine Street. If you remember where the old bleachers were there on Blaine Street, it'll go in that area.
It's only the football field that's turf, correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
The football field plus the track. And when we discuss the track, currently it's a 6-lane track. My question to the builders and the others is, what is the difference in 6 and 8? How much difference is there? And really, for the extra 2 lanes, there's not that much different. It makes sense to go ahead and do the 8 lanes, do it right and get it done, and rather than to do the 6.
So 8's regulation, right?
Right.
Will that
That's
push
what's
the
at the high
bathroom?
school. Right.
Will that push the bathroom out?
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's.
No, there will be,
It goes that way.
we will lose that building. There's an old building there, as you are all aware of, Jim, but losing that is not that big a deal. It's just used for storage now, and it's just an old block building, no heat, no nothing. So, but it'll go. we went out and looked at it.
The 6 lane of the track post, mean you brush the wall if you ran.
Yeah.
Is there there's a timeline on the money that the school district has? Is that, am I correct in saying that?
The difficulty, you're probably correct. When we met, I kept asking, I don't think they know yet. They just know that they have to spend it, and we're preparing to spend it fast because, as you well know, a lot of times by waiting till we get all the information, I think is the worst thing to do. By what we're doing, we're gonna be ready to go.
With the city on board?
Right. And the school board president or the chairman met, as well as some school board members. And then the facilities director met with us, and we're keeping them informed as we move ahead. Asked the facility director if they wanted to do it or what they wanted, and he said, not quoting him, but the idea was, I'm up to here with Bond, so go for it.
So who owns the one finished field? Is it Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken, Little League? Who actually owns that field?
One of the bathrooms?
The school district owns.
The school district,
Who owns it?
yes, always
They
on.
had an agreement to,
Babe Ruth or whoever has been paying for that
Right.
forever.
Yeah.
So, and we've only had discussion about the football field.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously, option 2 and 3 is gonna cost more money.
Yep.
Because there's a lot more to it. So,
but long-term, I mean, that's something that.
no, I just, has there
Should
been
be-
any sort of preliminary discussion about, or are we talking about, we're going 50-50 on all this other stuff too, or is that our?
We have,
thought?
no, we made it clear that what we wanted to do was make sure that we didn't develop something that couldn't be used to improve the other fields as well.
You wanna look at these? You wanna look at these?
I'm trying to quit. No, thank you, Don, I'll do that. Do I have to recycle them or give them back?
On the original one of just doing the field,
Leave it to him.
if we just do the field and don't do anything else, are we still gonna kick in some permitting situations with the city because we're repairing what we have?
I think the lease agreement spells that out. If
So I'm
you
talking about with the city, not with the school district, but the city,
well,
city of Newburgh.
the city of Newburgh, I don't see a problem there. The AKS is currently discussing it with them and going. Could we get into a problem? Probably. But again, it'll be 50-50 with the school district. And it's spelled out who's responsible for what in the lease agreement.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the city and just saying, we're repairing what we have.
Well, that's what we'll try.
Well, that's what you try first.
Right.
That's.
And hopefully
Tonight,
they'll go that way.
based on.
Don knows what I'm going on.
Yeah, we used to have a,
We used to have a
we used
building
to have
here.
we used to have a pool on the corner of Villa and Hayworth. And then now we have a pool on the corner of Villa and Hayworth, and somehow that cost us $1 million.
I don't remember that conversation. So, are there any other questions on this? So we need to vote to approve the contract and the motion.
Which is so down to sworn. He's already spent the money.
So what do you think?
That's under his purview. So, I will move to approve the contract with AKS and Smart by whoever.
Okay, a second from Gail. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Okay, reports and comments from board members?
Hang on, does that also include approval and authorization to sign the lease agreement with the school district?
I think we, unless I'm mistaken, we approved B, and that was part of that.
Yeah, it was part of it. The school district may come back and want some changes. Again, if they do, I'll come back to you.
Any reports and comments from board members?
So Jim and I are on the Trails Subcommittee liaison group, and it seemed like they're getting a little bit frustrated about not making progress over the time, but we do have a trip scheduled out to Bob and Crystal Riley Park. And what's the date for that, Karen?
May
May have 11th.
May 11th. I'll be out of town that day, but I'm excited about them.
I'll take you up there, Mark.
Okay, I've been up there. But I think there's great opportunity for them and I sent Casey a list of other potential
Yep.
trail projects
you.
too, but I think Jim and I have been talking to the board about how much improved that site could be with some proper signage and maps. And I use as an example the new Chehalem Ridge Trail that's got great route finding and wayfinding maps. And that trail or system of trails doesn't have great views. So a lot of that is previous timber farm and a lot of 30, 40-year-old trees, but there's only a few spots that have good views, and it's gravel access up at the top, but you go there on a weekend and you won't be able to find a place to park. And I think Bob and Crystal Riley Park trails are every bit as good as that area. It's just they need a little bit of work. I mean, the site is amazing. It just, with the work that Russ has been doing up there, I haven't seen it since then, but that and the addition of some good route finding and maps, I think that could be a great asset for the district. So
I go out there occasionally and I find people that use it. I ask them where they're from. I've had several people say they're from Portland. I've had people say they're from McMinnville. I had people say that they're from Tigard, Sherwood area, Wilsonville, different places. I always try to ask. We have quite a few that, naturally use it pretty regular in this area. So.
Yeah, there's people just go up there to sit at Bob's Corner and just chill for an hour after work.
Well, and it's great now that both ways are paved. It used to be you go up 99 in the Merritt Mountain and it was paved, and then you come back Fernwood, and then it was gravel, and so
well,
I
there's
think
still
that's,
one way up there that is gravel. It's not a place to go. That
Well,
Shad, what is it, Shad Lane or Shad Road?
There's neighbors that are up for using it too, so they're taking advantage of it, which is great.
Question.
Carrier Wines is going to use the parking lot.
Yeah.
Sometime in June for an event they're holding at their winery. So we're going to just let them use the parking lot. It's on a Monday.
be good neighbors.
Yeah.
And it's wineries from all over the state.
Okay, that's it.
It'll be a good PR thing, I think.
Any other board comments? I just got an email from Alan Holstein on he just wanted to know if we were doing any grant applications with the Oregon Community Foundation. I guess he's now on one of the committees that selects some of the grants that are given, so that's just for Julie or whoever, if we've applied with grants for them, the Oregon Community Foundation. So I have from our citizens. Anybody?
I don't, pickleball's later,
Pickleball's
later.
on. Okay, well then moving on to old business, updates and projects and questions.
Any questions? Hey, finally, we have materials arriving for the aquatic center. I think they're all just about there. The pumps arrived today.
They're there.
They're all there.
Yeah.
And we haven't determined the time or if that they're going to do that work, but at least they have all their parts and there's no more excuses for them to be delayed. I'm hoping it gets done within the next month, before summer. So that's a good thing.
It is, because I had a long question here for you on that. But I was wondering if you could educate the board on what those roof units do.
What those roof units do, they take heat out of the air and provide heat to the building, or they take cold out of the air and provide cooling or dehumidification type process to the rest of the facility. So we can regulate the humidity in the building. As you know, pools tend to be 90% humidity most of the time. I think the whole pool is at least that.
Yeah.
And it causes things to deteriorate more quickly. So we have our set at about, they run usually about 40 to 55% humidity at all times, even though one of the pools is at 83 degrees and the other pool is at 81. So there's a lot of difference between the outside air and the inside air, and the evaporation of the water inside all has to be controlled through dehumidifiers, 2 separate units that are up there. So it's environmentally controlled, basically.
And supposedly, and correct if I'm wrong, once we get those units going, because we're reclaiming that heat, we should also be hopefully saving some money from heating, because I know that the boiler was put in as a backup, not as a mainstay, and so, I mean, they even talked about, Don remembers us having 2 boilers there, one to back up the other boiler, but we said we didn't need to do that because we have these $1 million units on the roof that are gonna work and take that away. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that it works, and it's good news that it's gonna be there. Let's just hope things are smooth sailing.
The only reason for the boilers being placed in was when we closed down, the biggest problem we have is reheating the water. When we reheat the water with electrical, it can take 7 to 14 days, depending on the temperature and the others. With the boiler, we're going 72 hours, which the loss of revenue and those type things are important. The second thing is, with the heat, it doesn't hurt to have a backup one way or the other, especially with water heating and air heat. So it worked out well in the design. Going across the country, Jim and I went to Washington and different places, and he will tell you that their biggest problem was their HVAC system, which we were hoping to overcome. And I think we did to a point, but it's a very complicated, difficult system to do. And you've got to remember, a pool environment is one of the most difficult environments to control. So I think we did well. I think we moved it a step closer, and hopefully across the country they'll learn more and more, and it'll get better and better.
Well, not to belabor this, but I think you remember the many meetings that I was in with the architects and the engineers and the contractor and everybody else. It was my number one concern was dehumidification and the humidity of that building. It was my number one concern. So I fail, I guess I should say, that we didn't get those units we really wanted to, according to what the engineer told me. So it's a big disappointment, but it's good that we hopefully will have them on board. Finally.
That's the plan.
It's very complicated in that the distance that it traveled with the water that's needed, the amount of time that one shuts down. There's 5, I think there's 4.
3 units on the roof.
3 units on the roof,
Yeah.
but there's 8 pumps.
Right, and by the time they shut down and start up, there's a problem, and we've about solved that. And to the architect, as well as the designers and the construction, they bait a lot of this. We paid nothing. Matter of fact, we were asked, and I said, no.
Well, I have to back up on that a little bit. We did change out some motors and pumps in that room
Yep.
to try to meet their needs, and it didn't work to our satisfaction. So the district did put in some money after the fact, but it's good to hear that they are taking responsibility for what's left.
Well, if you remember, Jim, we sat there in that room and I said, will this solve the problem?
Well, I remember.
Because if it's not going to solve the problem, I'm not interested. And we were told that it was going to solve the problem, which it didn't. But they are solving the problem. So it's like anything that complex. It's very, very difficult. Today I was there, and as Jim is aware, we had air in the lines, especially with the filtration system. And why was that occurring? And we think we have figured that out as well. And they're coming back and going down. Someone at some time left rags in there.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And so hopefully, as time goes by, we'll just get all these things worked out. And it lasts another 40 years.
50.
Yeah, 50.
Longer than over here. Anything else, Casey?
Center Estate, we got our grant in, as I suggested, and most of that grant's going to go to cover the cost of the Fifth Street. Jan's already donated money, and we'll have to get some money for, the plan is to get all the utilities and all the water and everything that we're gonna need to develop the park to the property. And kind of stop it there and kind of start from that point. There are no buildings planned, there's no grading planned on the park, that's as far as $1.5 million will take.
Well, if you get the grant from the state, you can always go for another one to complete the project too.
Yeah.
So down the road.
We phased it.
Yeah. Because, according to Down, that was our cost analysis that the architects had done, to do everything in the park complete at this time. And there was a contingency in there of, I think it's about 20%, but their final estimate on the cost was over $10 million. That included all the buildings, the park, the water features, all the development, grading, et cetera, et cetera.
And we may substitute the building for the grade school. Yeah. And we talked with Jan about this, and she's on board.
My only thing is that it'd be great to have something for Jan just put all that money and donate that land soon.
I would agree.
And you know why I'm saying that.
Yes. We were very fortunate.
Okay. Anything else? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have questions if you guys can give us any kind of updates on the agreement with the Lindquist to be able to do trails and kind of lunch.
Casey and I met and, I think it was yesterday, Casey, was it yesterday or the day before? I can't. And I said, number one, we need to make sure the access is there. So we're going to confirm that with the city of Dundee. And Lindquist says that they have access, but we need to see it in writing and those type things. The second thing is we will go down where we look, mark off the area, get it surveyed so that we've got that, and go ahead and begin to clear some of that
Okay.
and get that out of the way. Those are the steps that we're taking. And then after we do that, we'll probably go to the Marine Board, get them down there, and say, how do we make all this work? What is your suggestions? And we'll see what they say. But I saw your face, but before that, we'll take care of everything.
Part the Marine Corps is getting money now from non-motorized to
Right.
do licensing.
Right.
They've
They
asked,
are.
also, Lindquist team has asked for appraisal for that 5-acre parcel up at the top of Beach Street.
Yeah, is it likely that's gonna be part of the agreement that they're gonna ask for?
That's, I kind of get that feeling that that's what they're gonna do for.
I asked that at the last meeting that we had with theirs. What they said was, yes, they would like that, but the paddle launch is not contingent upon that. They're wanting to move on that
Okay.
because that could hold it up, and I'm not willing to wait. And they're going to go ahead and go through with that. So we'll get that, go ahead and get that easement and those type things and get all that done.
So do you know, is it Ashley Massey at Marine Board that will be,
I don't have contact with them.
I'd like to be involved when we get to that point.
We'll call you.
Thanks.
What else? That's all the projects. Bypass Trail, we're still working on that. Getting everyone together for a rail meeting down on River Street. Will Worthy gave us a check for $25,000 for engineering, road engineering, and that rail crossing down there. So that's helpful. He was going to have staff do it, but we thought it might be better if we just wrote us a check for
Is that the rail crossing at River
it.
Street?
River Street, yeah. So we're gonna be meeting with the county. There's a bunch, there's ODOT, there's ODOT Rail, ODOT Row, PGE, the county, the city. And then we talked with Tom Weiser from Weiser Rail, and the rail crossings in Oregon, and Greenworks, and the city, Doug Rucks, Russ Thomas, Brett Music. I heard from everyone else, but I haven't heard anything from the city.
As, are they planning on keeping that rail then?
The rail is gonna stay, they wanna use it.
They want to keep it active?
Yep, they wanna use it for light industrial or also a tram.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Is that less, At one time, that was in the county, that intersection.
It is.
Has that been annexed? That's still in the county.
Still in the county, the city was supposed to annex it a while ago.
Yeah, that's part of that.
It's being annexed, and
That'll be helpful.
the good news is this whole trail is pretty much on ODOT
Right.
city right away and stuff all the way through, so we don't have to deal with any right of way or anything like that. So that's the good news.
So that's kind of, I think they have about 30%, they're close to 30% planned right now for that section of that, other than the rail section. And they're a little bit behind, but not that bad. So it's still on target for start construction next week.
Okay.
That's still working on the campground down there. I hooked up Kielson with Andrew Walker, our friend at ODOT, and he gave them some information. You know, ODOT currently is doing traffic counts down there for a stoplight that they're going to install on Winhope and Newski.
How are they?
Yep, they are. And so just having a traffic control there helps
Yeah.
the intersection where the campground is. So all in all, we're still gonna end up putting a decel lane, an accel, and a turning lane in there, but we think with the reduced traffic
Speed.
control, it'll be easier to do. So that's where that's at. And Paul's currently getting the design on the lower portion of the parkland down there, like down by where Hess Creek goes through, from the campsites and the parking lot and the small boat launch. And we're still working on the master plan and the land use of the campus. Hopefully it'll all tie together. Same with the Ewing Bridge. It's kind of on hold from planning. So, patience.
Okay,
Is the third 9 built yet?
I'm working on it, Tom.
Just
It's
checking.
on paper, it is all built.
Just checking.
all right. I want you to know that Dawn has someone out there picking up sticks right now. I drove down there and there was this woman out there, and a really nice lady, and I said,
Sandra.
what are you doing? And she says, well, I'm picking up sticks because we're gonna plant some grass or something there, or some hay or something. I said, great. She was in,
Nothing's making more money for the district than the golf course right now. We want to expand it or anything, make more money.
We just finished the other greenhouse that's out there. It's not completely finished.
Greenhouse, clubhouse, I'll be interested in a greenhouse.
Well, we'll turn it into a clubhouse.
NRPA sent me analysis of the district, and it shows what the national average is for income generated per agency. It was 20 or 30 per capita or something like that, and we're up here. We're way above. We're in the upper percentile. Matter of fact, we're the top of the percentile. So we're doing something everybody's trying to get to.
In the campground hall.
And it will help. And the other thing is our cost per acre. The graph looks like this, and we're here. We are much more efficient on a per acre cost than most agencies.
out of Champouy Park, they're putting in another wing of their campground because they don't have enough.
They
So
will.
there's a big need in this county, and even Marion County, because there's so many more people that are camping or can't afford places to stay, and they stay there for 14 days, so I think there's a big need.
And not to mention that, you know, even when we have fall tournaments and things in town, there's not a place for everyone to stay here. That means some of them drive from Tigard or Sherwood or kids, there's places to stay out there. And they come to the tournaments in the summer.
I don't think
Go back home.
Shampoo ever takes their campground full sign down. I'm not kidding,
Only in the
No.
wintertime.
because it is,
They told me when I double checked, it's been 3 or 4 years, but it hasn't changed. They said, we'll figure you up the first year, just by the ones we turned down.
any other questions or projects or programs? Nope. Okay, Pickleball Advisory Committee report.
I have heard no recent communication from them. The last email that went out was on April 8th, unless I missed something. They do not believe they're in the running for the grant. I don't think it was a 100% closed door, but it was kind of a, okay, we're done here.
Is that our program to the county? They did not get it.
They did not get it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nobody
so I don't
from
know
our
what, I
district
don't know what
got it.
their plan B is, or are we on to plan C?
And Plan C is they have to be patient and, you know, we've talked to the school district about that this is their new elementary school out in Dundee, and that's probably where it's gonna end up. And we'll work with them as much as we can until then, but, you know, if you can't find land to build something that big, then you have to be somewhat patient.
There is a developer who developed housing in Beaverton area out by the new school there, above Sherwood, out in that area. And I called some of my colleagues in Walton Hills and Hillsborough, and I asked them about him because he had worked with them and they had nothing but praise for him. They said he is a real professional. He cares a lot about the quality of life and about the developments that he does. And he knows that parks and those type facilities really pay off. He came to me and said that he was looking at developing kind of single-story homes out above the golf course for that, and he would like to build some type of pickleball area with that. And so we'll be working with him. And he and his wife both have their own private course at their home. It's a very nice. They'd be glad to have the board out there anytime you'd like to see it. They also have quite a bit of land that they bought. Part of that land is a pond. As the board is aware, we have a lot of people trying to fish out of our golf course ponds, which is not good because you're hitting golf balls. And they have a pond there that would be ideal for kids to go fishing and stuff. And they're willing to make that available as the time goes by. So we'll be working with them in the next couple of years. They're currently working with the city of Newburgh on the land use and those type things. They're right next to the city limits, the land that they own. I think there's some 90 acres involved in that particular development. To answer your question, there's Now, he's not involved with this pickleball group, but he is interested in pickleball and has done that. So I believe you have heard from him. Some of the older board members remember he came to the board.
So this, you talking about Peter again?
No.
No,
No.
remember he had a hearing problem, he and his wife?
Yeah, I remember that.
Belair,
Yeah, Brian Belair.
Belair.
Brian Belair.
That's right, it's not Peter.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
He played golf too.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
Well, yeah, same guy.
So we're talking the
Yeah.
property at the end of Hay Street, Don?
No, the street
No.
that doesn't go anywhere, that goes up.
So
towards-
Eagle and then in
toward-
front of Shad?
Yeah.
He
Eagle.
owns all the land,
He owns that
on
big
Coral
house in
Creek
Lewis and
Road.
Clark.
Adjacent to Shad Park.
So he's the one about on the right as you face Shad on top?
Right,
It's got the pond down below.
right.
He owns that big house in Lewis and
Right,
Clark
right,
and
right,
stuff.
So he'll be coming, and we've been working with him. And so the pickleball's not dead.
It's not a 24-court facility either.
No. he did-
Is Hunter's pickleball dead? That's the question.
The what?
Is Hunter's pickleball dead?
No, it's not
Hunter-
dead.
Hunter
It's just
Wiley.
gonna-
Is he still?
No, it's not dead, but
Took us 13 years to get the golf course built. You're just gonna have to be patient. I got a Jake with a couple weeks ago with my grandson. There's people playing doubles. I see why old people like Don like pickleball. You're playing doubles, you don't have to move. It's like
Yeah.
playing doubles and ping pong. I mean, you take like one step. You don't have to go anywhere.
why did this I go?
I never seen anybody, I've actually never seen doubles pickleball before.
It's growing.
Yeah, but they don't have, yeah. it's like-
Is that still I thought that was a little bit of a negotiation with the school district. If we work with the field, they'll help us with the pickleball side, is that not?
That was one of the things that we asked at the meeting that we had with the school district
Right.
board, and
They're on board with that, so is the facility director. Matter of fact, today, they spoke at Kiwanis and showed the Dundee School and even mentioned that the area that we looked at, Don remembers for the pickleball, that would probably be used by Park and Rec. And they had bought some 15 or 17 acres there. And so it'll all work out. It's just a matter of time when we can get it all done.
It's always good when public agencies work together for the betterment of their community, that's always a good thing.
Exactly. And the Shalem Future Focus, I talked with the mayor, and he was wanting to put together 15 or 20 citizens, and I said, why? Why not go back and go through the Shalem Future Focus like we did back in the 90s when we did all that work? Because all the administrators, including the county, all meet here every Monday. Tuesday, the first Tuesday of each month. We've been doing that since the 80s. We started it in 88, 89, and it's been going on, and it's time to revive it and move it along because we got along better when it was very active. And lately, due to, as you well know, the city manager has changed several times. So has the school superintendent, and we can't seem to get any traction. And the county has quit coming for the last couple of meetings. We keep engaging them and calling them and encourage them, but it's also PCC, it's TDFNR, it's any governmental agency within our area. So we've had that going Matter of fact, COG and the state has given us quite a few awards over the years for the cooperation, the way we've done things, and I'd like to get that. And the mayor agreed with that. He said, let's do it. So you'll probably be hearing more about that.
Are the local government dinners going to make a comeback?
Yes, you're exactly correct.
Did you talk to the county commissioners, like, for the potential?
No, I haven't seen a county commissioner in a while.
We need to bring it back, at least meet, we don't have to agree, but we can meet and agree to disagree and say, what can we work on that we can all agree on and get something done rather than.
Okay, so the Trail Advisory Committee reports. I can report that we met with the Knutsons and Casey was there with us, and so that's moving forward with, an agreement. Casey, also Alan contacted me, and if you just want to get with Russ and find a time, I'll get back to Alan, or you can get to Alan, we'll just go up there.
I talked to Russ this morning a little bit about it.
Okay.
Just gonna let him know.
When you're ready, let's go.
Tomorrow, Jim, I meet with BPA.
Okay.
And I'll get us on the contact.
For the
Yeah, for the adjoining property and stuff. And they have that all under lease. And if we're going to do that trail, it needs to not dead end, needs to join, and they already have a very extensive trail.
right.
And it'll just offer more opportunities for people.
Right.
So,
I just think that they're going to take baby steps when we talk to them. So, and I understand that. So it's
Right.
moving forward so far. We'll see.
and I agree with that.
I still have to look at John's contract again. That's one of the things I think we need to change, and I'll discuss that with you.
Yeah.
Okay, for the superintendent's desk, Tanya, you got a report for us?
Yeah, in the board packet was about Scramble, Don Paul. I talked with the mayor about that, and we should probably do something about that. She wanted the street name, and that's gonna be very difficult. The way they do that. He mentioned about some benches or something, and they're wanting to improve that area up by the post office. And with the board's approval, what we'll do is do a bench with a dedication type deal for the Scramble deal with, and probably at the time we do it, Don, you know Donna Paul, don't you?
Yeah.
And probably just ask Don to do a little ceremony with the mayor and stuff, if that's okay with the board.
Whatever.
Just to fill you in really quick, Donna Paul was she, and I think she still does. She was an instructor at the pool for many, many years, and then she ran Scrabble tournaments, and then went to the different schools as a volunteer and did Scrabble with the kids at the schools. So she was really active that way and had done it for many, many years. And basically, it was a nonprofit. She didn't make any money on it. We were just giving back to the kids to help them with their words. So it's kind of, I don't know, Gail, if you know her or not, but
Not
That's-
until I saw the packet.
that's kind of her history.
Yeah.
She's been around a while.
And with the board's approval, I'm just gonna work with the mayor, and we'll do a bench and stuff and just get it and do a plaque. And then when we do that, we'll do a little ceremony or something. And since you knew Don, I'm assuming.
Yep. I've
So,
known her forever. Just go to my church.
We'll just do a little ceremony, if that's all right. I'll tell the board about it when we get there.
You should use like a Q on the bench and an X. And,
Should
Yeah.
put all the Scrabble.
There you
letters
go.
Just as
Yeah.
a.
The other thing is in the board packet, no number, with the last page, which is a letter of support for the Dundee, and just need you guys to agree to that.
Is that for the county, for their little park,
Yeah,
through the state grant program?
They're applying for a grant for a restroom at their new park.
so I went ahead and signed it, but wanted to bring it to you guys to make sure you agreed with it and had no problem.
I agree.
Okay, then we'll just do it.
So good with everyone?
Yep.
Good. All right, anything else, Don?
That's it.
Miss and Julie tonight, staff reports.
She had a root canal done today.
Well, why isn't she here? Dedication.
She needs to be tougher.
You're a tough employees. You flew all the way back from Phoenix to get here earlier.
If you played basketball, you used to get your teeth knocked.
I gotta tell the story. My wife and I went to Phoenix and was not expecting anything. Kat let me know at about 3:00 on Wednesday afternoon that Mr. Biden would be flying into Portland. So my wife and I were a little late for our plane in the morning, so we missed the morning flight. And then she decided that if we both couldn't go, then she wasn't getting on the next flight. So I told her that no matter what, she was gonna have to get on the next plane, and that was at, I think, 12:15 or something like that. So in the meantime, the airport went pretty silent. And there wasn't a lot of PA systems going or anything, and no planes landing or taking off. And we're in on Seagate, and we see the emergency vehicles on the runway, and everyone's lights are flashing, and all the service trucks and everyone got pulled in off the tarmac. And so we watched Mr. Biden land Air Force One and parked directly across from Seagate. And there's a military kind of complex there. Lots of black vehicles, let's put it that way. And so we stayed there, and I was watching it on YouTube too, because KGW Reed was filming it. And so we could see the plane, we could see them going down the stairs, we could see the big procession of cars. And I talked to some of the people that got off the planes later, because I didn't make it out on the next flight, my wife did. That they were flying around up in the air for as much as 40 minutes and no place to land. Rerouted some to Seattle. And so, anyway, regardless to say, my wife got away finally at about 4 o'clock. And I got on the plane the next morning and made it down to Phoenix. And then my daughter was flying out of Seattle on Friday, and she booked an earlier flight at 3:30, and she didn't get out of there until 7:30 because Mr. Biden was leaving Seattle. So I did get to see Air Force One land.
And you got to see your grandkids.
And I got to see
That was
my
cool.
grandkids, yep. But I thought I'd share that.
It's a wonder they didn't clear the airport of like subversive Canadians. You didn't want to stay.
They didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
Yes.
You caused that, Kat. You know that? You warned me.
I warned you. So, hey, you were right in the middle of history. It's very exciting. And it's the second time he's seen Air Force One. He got to see the paint job change in the last few years.
Well, not last few, so I can't remember how long ago it was.
I saw Don's buddy Jimmy Carter jogging around the White House grounds once back in late 70s, early 80s, when he was in office. Where he used to jog into Capitol grounds.
I used to walk every morning with his brother.
Yeah, that says a lot. Yeah, you-
That does say a lot.
Yeah, you and Bill.
Billy and I
Bill-
went
you and Bill,
walking every
yeah.
morning. Matter of fact, we met
Yeah.
with the
Somehow we hired you
President.
anyway.
president came and went for a walk with us. You should have seen the Secret Service then.
What was their code name?
So Kat, anything to report?
Yes, so if you saw the last week's Newburgh Graphic, there was a generous article on a 90-year-old volunteer over at the senior center, Dean Norman. And that was picked up out of a project that I've been working on with the senior center and one of our registration clerks who has aspirations of doing PR writing. So as I'm trying to expand their roles, that's his niche. So we've been doing a volunteer spotlight article series. Nice features, profiles on all of the volunteers at the senior center, and that was one that the Graphic had picked up on. So we just did another one, another interview of those today, and we'll just keep going. We have enough coming that'll kind of keep going through the summer. But it's nice. It's nice. We have good people out there who've been volunteering for many, many years. And they have good, fascinating life stories to tell, so it's a morale boost for them, and it helps advertise our center and the volunteer. Thank you, and the volunteer needs that we do have there. And yesterday I attended a job fair with a different registration clerk who has a penchant for public events, and it is nice to see job fairs coming back in person. We have in your packet, there's a flyer. There's going to be a new local variety show series. I am co-producing it with the director of the Chamber of Commerce. It's called Chehalem Valley Vaudeville. Thank you, Richard. Auditions are on Monday. If anyone is interested, if you sing, if you juggle, if you think you're funny, if you spin plates, anything goes. This will be dusting off the Black Box Theater, and that's where it will take place. The show dates will be June 10th and 11th, Friday and a Saturday, same show. And if it picks up, our goal is to keep it going as a monthly thing through the Black Box and then eventually into the news stage. So that's exciting. Wednesday starts Newburgh Wednesday downtown markets again, and we have over 70 vendors. Vendor response has been fantastic.
That's great.
They're probably half of them returning and half of them brand new, and it's literally every other day it seems like we have a new vendor sign up. So
Is that the same location?
it is going to be the same location this time, yeah. Okay, well, that's about it for me for now.
We will probably do Dundee as well. We started last year.
Not going to do it this year, but eventually we'd like to get back down there probably once Sandra Estate is more established.
Start working on the road.
Yeah, yeah, last year that kind of hurt us last year when
Yeah,
they
that wasn't
cut off
really exciting.
access to the market by blocking off the road for construction.
I remember that. About tech.
Yeah, things. I don't know, what have we done, Casey?
You got a nameplate.
Yeah, I got a nameplate.
There you go, Richard, good job.
Yeah. I've just been working on things at the pool, getting things more ironed out. Figured out the issues with the hot tub, with it overshooting and undershooting chlorine. The piping size that they use is 1/2 inch, which is over a gallon of chlorine in the line where it injects into the pool. We changed that out to 1/4 inch tubing and it's actually injecting like it should and keeping it really nice and tight instead of going out of band. Yeah, just fun stuff working.
Okay, correspondence, citizens' comments, evaluation. There weren't any that I saw in the packet. Did I miss a thing or?
Just remind the board about the increase in the SDCs, which is a standard thing that we do every year. So in July, we'll send that to the county, both cities.
Yes, one more thing I should mention is, they had a meeting at the cultural center today, or the cultural district. Tunes on Tuesdays ago, they start in July. And the Community Fest was a really good success. We had 420 runners in the event. Sean said that they had over 5,000 people through the cultural center that day, or that weekend. So that's numbers that are pretty typical for that event. Lavender Fest is coming up. He doesn't see any changes with that. So things look pretty normal this year for change. The only thing that I've heard that's not the same as it would have been in previous years is the Old Fashioned Fest has an carnival this year. But everything else is supposedly a go. And downtown, for the early morning Rotary has decided to go continue Summerfest on, I think that's late August, August 27th to the 28th. So things are getting back to normal.
Is Kellen on board?
I was just gonna ask that. I was curious seriously curious if people have noticed the new golf carts, because it's like wonderful, you know, when you go up the hill, one guy doesn't have to get out, you know, oftentimes that guy has to push. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. So, yeah.
Well, the total cost of 40 golf carts, if you didn't have a trade-in room, would have been $285,000. I know that because I just took them down to get them insured at the insurance place today. So, they're not cheap. They should last longer, and the maintenance less, and they're supposed to use 30% electricity, 30% less.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So eventually, you know, if you hold on to them for 4 or 5 years, they're gonna pay for them. It's gonna pay for the electricity.
So Don could run it so hard when they would last.
Yeah, if Don wouldn't spend 300 rounds at the golf course every year, then they would probably last longer too.
So, seniority has its perks.
The
You say Kellen is on? Or?
Kellen and I talked about the tournaments. As a matter of fact, we're getting so many requests, we've decided that you can't have a tournament every weekend. So,
You can if you have a third nine, because then you can have the public play on the third nine while the tournament's going on the other 18.
You're correct.
Point that out.
You're correct.
So why don't we expand on that? I mean, why don't you fill me in, educate, how much money would we make if we were able to open that nine and have those tournaments all the year?
Probably $1 billion a year.
At least,
roughly.
I would assume. But I do kind of wonder on that revenue generation there.
When you build the third nine, the reason we decided on 27 holes instead of 36 holes was because of you can get the same amount of play on 27, believe it or not, because you only have so much time during the day as you can with 36. Plus, with 36, your operational cost goes way up because of your greens and the mowing and all of that. So it doesn't pay off to go from 27 to 36. That's why
No, that was one of the fascinating numbers we learned back when we were at golf. I thought was fascinating. You can double your rounds per year by going from 18 holes to 27. You don't have to go from 18 to 36, just by the way you funnel. You got a tournament going here. You got 9 holes for public to play. By the time the first half of the tournament's done, the public can make the turnover on the 9 they start. So you don't need 36 holes to double your rounds. You only need 27. It was just a fascinating little factoid that we learned in all the research. I mean, Casey is from the golf course, so he knew that, but it was fun to learn some of this. Good. I move we build the third item tomorrow.
You got a second there from that partner corner.
I just like to see it, if the revenue's there, do I have to borrow some more money and we can build the damn thing? Got the
When
land.
we look
Sorry.
at the campground, we may just include the golf course with it. You'll see.
Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
The May 3rd City Club speaker will be Dr. Jerry Turgeson, talking on topic of children's mental health, and that is the 4th of we have 4 remaining meetings, so after that, there's only 3 left.
Okay. I have a motion to adjourn. You don't need a motion to adjourn.
You need a motion, it doesn't need a second. So I'll move that we adjourn. And you can go directly to a vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hopefully the same.